Hey, hey, hey. What is up, you guys? What is up? What is up? I am super excited because we are going to have a game seven. Game seven, one game, looks like two, just one game left to decide it all, you guys. I could not be more ecstatic. You see, I have the yellow set up because I'm in celebrating my Pacers, right? Tyrese Halliburton came out. He said he was going to try, and that he absolutely did. He came out. He obviously, I'm not even sure how hurt he is. He's hiding it well. They're not really telling us exactly like what grade the calf strain is, and that's good. We don't need to know all the details, right? The point is that he came out and that he played. The Pacers, they started off slow. I was like, "Ooh, what's going on?" They came out, kind of couldn't get their foot underneath them, but once they got to that 10-10 tie game, and then it just went from there. Like they really put the pedal to the metal. Second quarter, third quarter. Oh man, where do I even begin? I'm just so happy that there's going to be a game seven. There's going to be one game left, you guys. Just one more game to decide it all. Who is going to be the NBA champion 2025? Whew, you guys, I couldn't be happier. It was so much leading up. I was praying all day. I was like, come on, Tyrese, be okay. TJ McConnell. I really have to give and show some love to TJ McConnell. I have been high on him for a few seasons, you guys. I think he is such an underrated asset to this team. The way he shows up in these big, big moments, even not in big moments, like he comes through. They can do nothing with him. They cannot do anything with him. Absolutely love TJ McConnell. I think he's a treasure to have on this team. Obi Toppin was great tonight. I think this was like the best series for him thus far throughout the playoffs. He matches up really, really well against this OKC team. And that's really hard because sometimes you have players who are great in one series, depending on the matches, and you have players who are still great. But for the matchup, it just does not match up. And they need to take a seat or, have reduced minutes for somebody else who may not have played, but they're better matchup and it works better for them this series. I think Miles Turner has kind of been a little bit inconsistent, trying to find his footing, although he's still making an impact, and that's what counts the most. Andrew Nimhart, he has some more offense tonight, like he's been more on the defensive end, obviously guarding SGA, which is a tough, tall task, and he's been doing his best. I love the adjustment that was made. Rick Carlisle with SGA, they gave him a different look tonight every time. SGA, he always really good. Like he tries to find his way through the gaps. Any kind of gap you give him, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna try to go ahead and get that shot up. And if he gets it up, great. If he does, he's gonna get the and one, or if not, he's gonna go ahead and get the free throws. But tonight, each time trying to find a gap, it was like double team. Like they gave him something different. Nimhart wasn't on him the entire time. I think it was effective at first, and then once he got used to Nimhart, like you saw like the last game, he kind of started to find his way around it and through it. And like I said, too much of the same thing, too much of the same steady diet is not good for anybody. You got to show him something different if you want to still be effective. And Mark Dagnall pretty much said that at halftime when they spoke to him, like the guys were a little bit caught off guard because they gave him something different. They weren't expecting the game plan they had tonight. And that's the good thing about coaching. I really feel like we already know how talented both rosters are, right? They both have a great bench. The Thunder have one on the road. We know that the Pacers can run on the road, right? We've seen them win in Bucks. We've seen them win in Cleveland. We've seen them win last season in MSG. We've seen them win this season in Michigan. They're not afraid of the moment. Not to mention game one, they fought back and they won that game in OKC. So home court advantage, obviously you want to have it, but they don't necessarily need it to win the game. We've seen that already, right? So that's great. Now, I really feel like this is going to come down not so much to like which team is better, because both teams obviously are super talented. Excuse me. I really feel like it's going to come down to the coaching in this game seven, because just adjustments were made, right, by the Pacers. Now Mark Dagnall has to go back and then counter those adjustments. And I don't know, you guys, excuse me. If I am Rick Carlisle, I am not going to do the same thing again that I did in game six, because you're going to be expecting that. What is going on? I'm sorry, you guys. They're going to go back. Okay, see that is. They're going to watch the film, look at what they did differently, and look at how they can counter that for game seven. If I am Rick Carlisle, I am not going to give them the same exact thing they're expecting. I'm going to have a different game plan. They said that he had quite a few game plans that, he had wrote up in case Tyrese could play and then had to leave. in case he wasn't as effective as they needed him to be. So whatever else he was working on that we didn't get a chance to see, I would love for him to kind of throw and mix and match it. All cards on the table. All cards on the table. This is a game seven, one game. There are no more games at this point, and the players are out there, right? They know each other. At this point, you know each other's habits. He likes to go right. He likes to go left. He likes to spin to the left. Likes to spin to the right. Like you, at this point, know what to expect from SGA. You know what to expect from J. Like you, JW, like you know that they're going to come out and they're going to play super hard. You know that building's going to be rocking. Okay, in OKC, they probably got the fans out there waiting right now for them to come back on a private jet, and land and show them some love. So we know that it's going to be a very tall task to win that game there in game seven. There's just no way around it. But they can definitely step to the challenge. The bench production, I really feel like it's going to come down to the bench for either team. We all know what SGA can do, no J-Dub can do on a good day. Isaiah Hartenstein, this hasn't been necessarily the best matchup for him, but he can still be impactful. Alex Caruso, he wasn't that impactful tonight, which is surprising, right? But can Wiggins show up? Cason Wallace, who else? Lou Dort's been kind of, he's not a bench player, obviously, but he has been in foul trouble. And he hasn't really been knocking out his threes the same way he has earlier in this round. For the flip side, for the Pacers, right? Can TJ McConnell do what he did again in the game seven? Can we see Pascal Siakam be as aggressive as he was tonight, offensively and defensively? They asked a lot of him. And high key, he has been delivering. In the moments when Tyrese even couldn't, he has stepped up. Even in the losses, he has stepped up. He's been a force on both sides of the ball. I have to give him that. So I'm just excited. I'm just excited to see what happens in game seven. There's so much to take away from this game. I'm trying to think of everything that happened, what didn't happen. But the biggest thing to me was that you could tell the Pacers, the energy was not the same it was in game five. Like game five, the way the Pacers came out, I said, okay, they're not trying to win this game. The energy was just way off. It wasn't even just Tyrese. It was like the whole team just kind of felt like they didn't really have enough. They didn't have enough energy. Like they didn't really care enough, I feel like, to win. I see a theme of lack of role player production on the board for both teams. Yes, yeah, I was just saying that. I was just saying that. I really feel like in this game seven, aside, we know what we're going to get from the Stars. We know what to expect to get from the Stars. We know what to expect from getting from SGA. We know what to expect from getting from J-Dub, Tyrese. One thing we don't know about Tyrese is the X factor. I feel like because you don't know, and I call him Ty, but you don't know what you're going to get from him. You don't know if he's going to be facilitated, especially now that he's kind of hurt, kind of not hurt. I'm not exactly sure how serious the injury is, but you know that he's obviously not 100%. That much we all know. But there are games where he just explodes, right? And he has triple-double, double-double. He has double-digit points, double-digit assists, rebounds. In other games, he has no more than like 4 points. Last game, no points. And then the team is still finds a way to win. So you know what to expect from him. I think that's the good part. The good thing I think that the Pacers have, the edge I think they have against the Thunder is that you do not know what you're going to get or who you're going to get, should I say, from this Pacers team. You don't know who's going to step up. You don't. Like, you already know that when it comes to the Thunder, it's going to be SGA and J-Dub and then Chet. We know that those three pretty much, lead the charge when it comes to that team. But with the Pacers, we know Pascal hopefully is going to show up, Obi Toppin. We know that who else? Obi Toppin. Aaron Neesmith is going to be good defensively, but offensively, can he give what he gave you? Again, with the Knicks, he's going to give you those. Sorry, not the Knicks, but he's going to give you all those 5 threes, things like that, right? The unpredictability. I'm stuttering, you guys, talking so fast and thinking at the same time, is what I think really works to the Pacers' advantage, because you never know. You're like, okay, who's going to be the guy tonight? Is it going to be Nembhard dropping 20? Is it going to be Benedict? Is it going to be Ben Shepherd come off the bench? Like, who is it going to be? Whose night is it going to be tonight? And you never know whose night it's going to be. They just need one person off that bench or two. You never know which two it's going to be. That's what's so great about them. If Ty can get to the line, help them get in foul trouble. Yeah. Absolutely. But, it doesn't need to be him. And that's the thing. I think they came into when they announced that that's how I was going to play. They probably said, okay, we know how he's going to play. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. But he wasn't on the ball a whole lot tonight. And I said they're going to have to take him off the ball because he's injured. They're going to pressure him. They're going to try to pressure him and see just how far they can push him with that calf string. So I think the game plan was great tonight from Rick Carlisle. The counter has to be even better. This game seven, aside from the bench, is going to come down to the coaching. bench production and coaching. And then, of course, hopefully the refs give us a good game without blowing the whistle every 2 seconds. If it's going to be a great defensive game, I'm like, let's just let it be a great defensive game. Don't blow the whistle every 2 seconds. Let them play out and give us a great game. And if you're going to blow the whistle, then just call it failure on both sides. That's all I care about. I just want to see a great game seven. I'm still pulling for my Pacers, obviously, to win. But, it's a game seven. Anything can happen. Anybody can get hurt in a game seven. Obviously, don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't want any excuses like, oh, well, they could have won, but he got hurt. They would have won, but then he went down. Like, I don't want any of that. I want Tyrese as healthy as possible. Yeah. Honestly, Mick, there was some questionable coaching from Rick Carlisle. Like I expect, like last game when you saw that Tyrese, obviously Ty was not feeling his best, right? It was obvious. Like he wasn't moving the same way. He couldn't really shake defenders, and you still have him out there. And you bring TJ in, and then he brings the spark in. Like the team starts playing with more life, more pace, and then they bring it all the way down. And then you have him on the bench the whole entire fourth quarter. Like, what are you doing? Now I know that Ty has been clutch pretty much this whole like series, but it's obvious that he was not feeling his best, and you weren't going to get clutch from him in that game. What other game was that? Game four. Oh, you know what? For Reggie, he looks so happy sitting there in the crowd. I'm like, if they win, they got to give him a ring. You got to give Reggie a kind of honorary ring, some kind of honorary, I don't know, mention, something, honorable mention. You got to give him something, because he's just sitting there just cheering. Even when he was calling the games, he's trying to be fair, but you know that he was leading for the Pacers the whole time. But his enjoyment, even at home watching the game with his family, with his young son, is so endearing. It's so cute. But TJ McConnell, enough cannot be said about him, in my opinion. I think he has been phenomenal. He's really showing up, really and truly on the biggest stage. Um, I need foul trouble. I need Neesmith to stay out of foul trouble for Game Seven. He cannot be in foul trouble for me. He can't. He's too important. And especially in the game seven, this is the final game, win or lose. He can't sign him to a 1 day contract. Yep, why not? Sign him to that 1 day contract. I feel like I was surprised though that the Thunder threw the towel in early. I was like, why do we win the white flag early? I thought we were going to try to fight a little bit harder, but I honestly felt like from the beginning, the Thunder didn't really feel like they wanted to win. I feel like they kind of came like, we know we have a game seven in our back pocket. And I don't like that. I didn't like it at all because you never know what could happen in a game seven. Anything can happen in a game seven. Hostile territory or not, the Pacers can definitely win on the road. They've done it in every single series on the biggest of stages, MSG being one, very loud, Madison Square Garden. They have shown up. They won game one. They fought all the way back from being down 20 and Tyrese hit that game winner. Like, it can't. It can't absolutely. I don't know. But I am excited. I'm super excited to see. I'm glad that Tyrese has some time off, some more time off to get healthier, really get this game plan. This feels like okay. I feel like it's OKC. It's like OKC feel game seven automatic wins. I really feel like in general, like people have counted the Pacers out since the beginning, which was so irritating to me. Like, no matter what channel I turned on, it was like, oh, the Thunder have had the best record the entire season. Like, the Pacers have no chance. I'm like, how do they not have a chance? Like, they've been coming through every single series. They definitely have a chance to beat the Knicks. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were the best team in the East by far. Coach of the year, defensive player of the year. Like, they were injured like the first 1 or 2 games. It was a 7-game series. They had plenty of time to come back where they had all their players. So that's not an excuse, not at all. But I feel like everybody at every stage, they were on a hurricane tonight. They have counted them out every single time, and the Pacers have always bounced back and given them a game, regardless of anything. But I think the media and everybody's already counting them out. Like people didn't really think they're going to win tonight. I'm like, they can absolutely win a game six. They're going to win game six. They're not going to get embarrassed on their home floor. Champagne, bottles flying, confetti going down while you're in the locker room getting ready. You can hear everybody cheering and whatnot for the team that just beat you. No, it's not going to happen. I know we're going to win game six. But game seven, I really hope that that Tyrese is his absolute best that he can be, given his injury, that he can perform his absolute best. It's going to take, I wouldn't say a perfect game. I really feel like they have to show but the same intensity, start on the defensive end. Like the same way that they were like giving OKC tonight. They were hacking them, making them uncomfortable. They're making SGA. Like I saw him pass with the left hand. I was like, oh, he never makes that kind of pass with the left hand. You know, like, you have to make sure that you keep them uncomfortable, off balance. You cannot have them get into their spots, get where they want, how they want to get there. You got to be strategic. If you're going to get fouls, you got to be smart about it. Neesmith stays in foul trouble. That's the one thing I'm worried about. It. He's so important. I'm like, mm-mm. Those for who? What? How did you think that? How did you think it was over? Absolutely not. I did not believe that. I said they're going to come out. They're going to fight tonight. I said that from like, I said they're going to get game six. I said Pacers in six in the beginning. I'm saying that on my channel here for a while. But, 7-game series, like I knew the Pacers, no matter what happened, they were going to win tonight. I said that. They could absolutely win one game, even if Tyrese wasn't necessarily playing. And he sat down for a lot of the game because the lead was just so far out there. They didn't really need him to stress himself out and get hurt even more. But there was one part in the game where he kind of tipped out to the side and that leg went out. I was like, oh, Tyrese, watch your calf. I was like praying, like, oh my God, don't hurt yourself. We need you for game 7. But thank God he was okay. And they supported him. About their last home game, I feel like, I really feel like wasn't that they were broken. I feel like this didn't have any energy. Like when they came out, it was just like last game, like tonight the Thunder. Like when they came out, I was like, well, the energy is off. Like I didn't see a Thunder team that said we're closing it out tonight. Like we don't want to go back to OKC. We're going to make sure we close it out tonight in Indiana and make sure we get the win. I didn't feel like that from tip off. Like they got off to a nice little start, but once it got tied and it was like 10-10, and then that was it from there. And the second quarter, it just got even further. In the third quarter, they kept the foot on the gas. And then the fourth quarter, they waved the white flag like early on. I was like, who they put in? What bench player is that? And I was like, okay, this game is over. Because they gave up. And then SGA was sitting there, and Jada was sitting there like with shoulder slump. I was like, okay, the body language, like this game is over. They know it's over. And they kind of play like I said, I was disappointed in the Thunder's effort. I really feel like they didn't really come like they wanted to close it out tonight. They kind of felt like we have a game 7 in our back pockets and we're okay with going back and seeing, taking our chances. I don't like that. I don't like that at all because the Pacers are too unpredictable. If you got a chance to close it out in the game 6, if it's on your home court or on the road, like do it while you can. Do not leave it to chance because worst case scenario, J-Dub gets hurt next game or SGA happens to go down. Like you never know what can happen. And we all know that we need those like J-Dub and Shea to step up. Like it's just, it has to be, it definitely has to be. But it starts with defense. They say your defense travels. So if the Pacers can bring the defensive intensity that they brought tonight, and the threes, right? The threes weren't really landing for OKC tonight. They missed a lot more than they made. The bench was non-existent, which has been the theme for the Thunder. You know what I mean? Like their bench has been non-existent on the road. Like they haven't, like it's like what's going on? Like Case and Wallace, who else? Case and Wallace, Wiggs. Like I'm just like, what's going on? Like they come off the bench and at home they're great. Like you can't stop them. So when they get on the road, it's like they're not the same players. And that's a problem. Oh man, you guys, but I'm excited. I'm gonna keep you guys here all night. I just want to hop on here and talk about it because I was like, yes, we won. I want to come on here. I'm super excited, you guys. Anything can happen. Like I said, Pacers, fingers across, you guys. I will be live for game 7 on Sunday. I need an unexpected 20-point game from a Pacers role player. So who you thinking, Mick? Who's the Pacers role player you think needs a 20-point? It could be Benedict Mathurin. We haven't really seen Ben Shepherd. Like his minutes have been reduced, like these playoffs. But this series, he's come in here and there, but not the same way he did during the season. He could show up. Who else is on that bench that comes up? So TJ McConnell. I would like they're going to go back and try to find a game plan for him. And that's the thing. If Rick Carlisle can, typically we don't really see TJ on the floor for high minutes with Tyrese at the same time. They might be on the floor at the same time for a little bit, like short spans, but not long spans. If they can find a way to have Tyrese on the floor at the same time with TJ McConnell, I really feel like that'll kind of throw it a little bit because they both, you know what I mean? He's like, okay, you got to pick your poison. And if your 2 best defenders are on TJ and then Tyrese, then that means everybody else is up for grabs, so anything can happen. They both can facilitate, so like I said, you never know what's going to happen. TJ McConnell, he's small, but he finds his way through, he's aggressive. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be TJ because I feel like they're going to find some kind of way to kind of slow him down going forward, I think. Miles Turner has been struggling, I feel like, this series. Like, I feel like him and Isaiah, like they're like this series has not been the best one for them. I feel like Obi Toppin has really been big for the Pacers this series. This has been a great series for him in terms of matchups. He's another one. He had 20 points tonight. I don't know if he's gonna have 20. But even if, let's say, you don't have one bench player that has 20 points, as long as you can have all the bench at least give you 10, like between 8, 10 points, 10 points from OB, at least between 10 to 12 from TJ, Benedict Mathurin, Ben Shepherd, like Aaron Neesmith to knock down some threes. He missed some threes tonight. Like if everybody can just contribute the way they did, what they always have, this could be a complete team effort and a complete team win all the way around. Because they played really well together. They really played for each other. They really set up tonight and kind of rallied around Tyrese. You couldn't really tell like he was really hurt. Like looking at him play, like if you didn't know it was like trending, if I was talking about him being hurt leading to the game, will he play, won't he play? Like you wouldn't know the difference. Like watching him play. I was like, oh, just how bad is that calf? Like what kind of medicine did they give? What kind of treatment did they give him the past few days? You know what I mean? But yeah, a balanced production is gonna be it. And like I said, the defense, touch to the defense. Because the defense generates offense. They were very handsy tonight with OKC. They were forcing turnovers, they were getting out in transition. Like OKC was like, whoa, like what happened? Like what happened? And you're gonna have to have that. You can't go there and be passive with this team because they're going to bring it, especially in their home crowd. They don't want to lose. You got the reigning MVP. Like they have the best record they've had the whole entire season, just running through the West by far through the whole entire NBA. Like they've had like the best record. Like they had it last season too. So they're definitely going to be looking to make sure that they close this out. So yeah, like I said, coaching and bench production, and balanced production, like you said, Nick. That's the whole team. That's what I'm thinking. But all right, you guys, let me get out of here. I'll keep you guys here all night. Like I said, I will be live for Game 7, so hopefully you will join me. It's Friday now, so I hope everybody has a great weekend, a safe weekend, and yeah, Pacers up. Let's go. Peace out, you guys. Good night.